Now this is Hollywood Unlocked. What up, everybody? It's Hollywood Unlocked Uncensored. I'm Jason Lee.
I'm Melissa Ford, a.k.a. The Curve Queen.
Yeah, it's DJ Damage.
All right, if you're listening to this show, wherever you're listening to it, make sure you also stream on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. Check us out over on iHeart and watch on YouTube. Our rating last week was 4.5. I'm convinced it'll be up to like 4.75 by next week.
Let's cross our fingers.
The show deserves it.
That's right.
Okay, so lots going on right now. I guess we can just get right into it. I know a lot of people are watching the show that aired the day after Kobe Bryant died. This show is pre-taped, so of course you get it when you get it. Yeah, yesterday I was on live talking to fans about my book and actually interviewing people who are in the book on my Instagram, just finding ways of getting the fans who want to know more about it, a little bit more engaged. And one of the fans came in and said, Kobe Bryant died. And I'm like, here y'all trolls go playing on my Instagram.
I know. Yeah.
And then it was like another one. Jason, go to then it was just like coming. So I just literally logged off live and started Googling and then found out that Kobe Bryant, legend in basketball, legend in Los Angeles, Laker, passed away. Where were you guys?
I was home. I just actually, I woke up hella early Sunday to go to the Santa Monica stairs and get an early workout in. And I was actually thinking while I was looking out at the, at the sky and the horizon, how foggy it was, that you really couldn't see.
This whole weekend.
Yeah, you really couldn't see like a far distance in front of you. And, come to find out hours later, Kobe Bryant and 8 others, including his daughter, passed away after their helicopter encountered fog. It's heartbreaking.
Where were you?
Yeah, I was up after partying for Grammys all weekend. I got up a little late, you got up early. I got up a little late, and I'm watching the documentary Don't F With Cats.
Yeah.
So I'm like, just texting and watching the documentary, and somebody sends me this link, says, Kobe Bryant dies in helicopter crash.
I thought it was a hoax.
This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen, right? So I click on it and I'm like, whatever. And then I go on Instagram. Not only go on Instagram, I go on Google and I type it in and all these links are like live. It's like a live pop-up. And I'm just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
In a helicopter crash?
Yeah.
And man, it took my soul away, man. It's just like, it was very, very eerie. It kind of just ruined the whole day for me.
Yeah, it's been a weird week actually in LA, and this is the first year during an award show season that I said I'm not gonna go out. Like I popped out at Her's Grammy party and I went to Puff's house, but I didn't really like go to no parties, and I had like a list of stuff that we were supposed to be at, and my team went, but I didn't go because I don't know, it just felt like a really weird weekend. And then when I woke up that morning and looked outside and saw because it was sunny, if you remember, the days before. That day was completely gloomy.
Yeah.
I looked out the window, I'm like, man, today's an ugly day. I'm not even going outside today. So when I got it, I didn't believe it, but I had got a call from somebody who told me that his daughter was in the helicopter.
That's when.
So I'm in the chat group with my team saying, okay, his daughter is in there. I know for a fact she's in there. But then people start saying all kids were in there. Then Rick Fox was in there. Then all the, the Twitter then starts all these
speculation.
These bot pages started putting out rumors to get people going because, when the news is happening, when something like that is going down, it's happening really, really fast. But we didn't want to report, in inaccuracy because Kobe, that's like, it's just the craziest thing. I'm still trying to process it. But I think the thing that was the most challenging was we had just posted on Hollywood Unlocked a video of him with his daughter courtside at a game where he was coaching her on the game. And then like her photos started popping up and then photos of them together. And I mean, I was an emotional wreck yesterday.
Yeah, I was definitely in my feelings about the whole thing. What's interesting is like on my show, I'm Here for the Food, we'd actually just done an episode where we featured a death doula because I was, she told me what I was going through with my mom and cancer was I was having anticipatory grief. I was already anticipating my mom's death before it had happened and I was suffering. I was already mourning. And so it's just interesting that I had this whole conversation with basically like a death positive expert on something like this a week before this happened because this is just, it's so hard to process. Not only because Kobe Bryant is like a global icon, that there is guys in high school basketball, in college basketball, in the NBA right now who are literally like there because Kobe was their inspiration.
Absolutely.
You know, he's a global phenomenon, wonderful father, wonderful husband. Like he just was like the coolest guy. But to know that Gianna was in the helicopter.
Took me out.
13 years old.
Took me out.
You know, dreams deferred, like the very definition of it, you know, and it's just like, you look at her and you could easily see her playing for Villanova or UConn or something like that, you know, when she got to college. And none of that's going to happen now. It just, and then I started thinking about Vanessa.
My thoughts immediately went to like, what happens in that final moment? You know, these are my private thoughts.
Yeah.
Was she scared? Was
Same.
he comforting her? Who was, you know, how do you, because I'll get in a plane and when the plane is going through clouds or extreme fog, I'm always wondering like, how do you know what's ahead of you? Like, how do you know? I mean, there's rumors or there's speculating. Of course, everybody's speculating that the fog caused it, but that they may have hit the mountain, right? Or may have been flying low. And I'm just wondering, I was really trying to picture the last moments of, you know, did they know something was happening? It looked like they were circling, they said, over Glendale a few times or whatever, which meant that, you know, that the fog was a problem. But
they didn't mention any malfunctions. Like it was just
no.
Just the fog.
I mean, witnesses are saying that they overheard a struggling helicopter, and it took me back to, and I called a friend of mine. On this show I had talked about when I had gotten to the beginning of the discovery of writing my own book. It was right after we had interviewed Jennifer Lewis. No, it was before we interviewed Jennifer Lewis. I went on vacation at Hawaii, and I was with somebody, and we were trying to figure out what activities should we do. And the one activity I had never done all the times I've been in Hawaii was get on a helicopter.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, let's get on a helicopter. And I remember being scared to get on the helicopter, but you know, if have you been on a helicopter?
Yeah.
Have you been on one? Okay.
Yeah.
When you get up, when it takes off, it's kind of interesting. But then when it's up there, it's like hovering so slow. It's not like a plane going really fast.
Exactly.
But when we made a turn over, you know, in the movie Jurassic Park, they film it in Hawaii where they have the big old green air. Okay. So they were like, let's go show you where Jurassic Park is. When they went to make that left, the helicopter started making this weird clicking sound. And I was like, I don't give a fuck about Jurassic Park. Take me back now. And there were other people. There were my people were. It was just us in the helicopter. But the lady was kind of laughing like, no, it's great. And I made her land it. I say all that to say, I know how scared I was just in a regular ride. I can't even imagine what was happening during those last few moments. But it's been a lot. The last 24 hours in reporting on Kobe Bryant, watching the Grammys and Alicia Keys opening, who I thought did a phenomenal job, has been really heavy.
But when you say the last few moments, I think that's one of the eerier parts for me. Just seeing one of his last moments was the sign off to LeBron, who's now playing on the Lakers. And then not only that, him being in his hometown of Philadelphia. It's just a lot of things are just very eerie as you start to look at these last few moments that LeBron had. It just took me out, man.
So for people listening, the LeBron, to talk really quick about the record that was broken literally the day before.
Yeah, I believe it was the most points record, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yep, it was the most points record, and I believe LeBron came in at number 2 on that record.
Yeah.
And you know, Kobe was known in the game to not. I'm not gonna say not show a lot of love, but be very competitive.
Yeah.
So to see Kobe Bryant kind of embrace LeBron James, who's now in the Lakers, it was just like a big moment for all the sports fans.
And that was his final tweet.
Yeah.
It's still up there.
It was a lot.
Well, in the same spirit of what Melissa started to say about about Vanessa, then my mind shifted from what were the last moments to this right here has me literally at home emotional. I mean, because now you relive your trauma. Then you start thinking of your process of grieving, right? So then the mind goes to Vanessa. She's there with 3 more kids.
Absolutely.
Then you think the girls' school, when they all come to school today, there's one open seat. Now they all have to process that she's not coming back to school.
The basketball team she plays
The
on.
whole team was waiting for them at the Mamba Academy. So they were flying to the Mamba Academy. They were getting ready to play games.
In anticipation.
And then they never show up. I just think the grief then just permeates just beyond, you know, 2 individuals or a family, and just watching the grief online. And I will say this, and this is why we've been posted on Hollywood Unlocked, and some people didn't like that we're posting, but we're going to keep posting it. And I'm going to say this, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but y'all know I don't give a fuck, right? White people need to be careful on how they talk about black people when they die. I don't even know if that makes sense, but let me try to unpack it a little bit. I love white people. I love black people, white people. I love everybody. But I always feel like when somebody in our community dies, they're so quick to either label us a certain way or go all the way back to our past or in some way discredit us or demonize us, even in our death.
You talking about the sexual allegations?
I'm talking about, so let me go there.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant, literally, if you look at him, was a perfect person on the outside. We don't know what was going on the inside.
Yeah.
He had one early on career issue where he allegedly cheated on his wife. Do you know the details of that?
The sexual assault allegations.
Yeah.
So where was he? He was in like Colorado or something like that.
Random.
And he had a sexual encounter with a girl who worked at the hotel, I
Who was
believe.
probably a fan.
And more than that.
You know, and so she claimed that the exchange between the two of them wasn't consensual. I believe that it involved anal sex. I remember that being like a big thing. And so when Kobe decided to do the press conference to try to clear his name, he had no choice but to cop
And Vanessa was there with him, right?
Oh, she was sitting right next to him. And so he had to cop to the fact that he had, a sexual indiscretion, but he was like, in no way, shape, or form was it forced on her. This was a consensual thing. And the charges were dropped because she refused to testify. And it was settled out of court as a civil matter.
And when they tested like her underwear, it was like
there was like three different people's sperm in her underwear.
That's
so, like hashtag Me Too. You're not allowed to blame the victim for anything. A prostitute can get raped, et cetera, et cetera. But
well, I'm going to say, with all due respect to the victims, again, this is less about you and more about Kobe. And it's not to discredit anybody who's been a victim of abuse because it's a serious topic. But I really found it, I'm looking at it like this person's had a perfect record in the game of basketball. He's arguably probably the best basketball player
he's icon, I feel like, is an understatement.
Yeah.
He's important not just to the city of Los Angeles. He only played on one team his whole career, correct?
Yeah, the Lakers.
Okay, so this person who fought to get his marriage intact and stayed, would appear to be a faithful husband to his and father to his family, dies. And then the first thing that I've seen three different people do. First, there was an MSNBC anchor who mistakenly said the word niggers online.
Which was...
Let's get back to that later.
Yes,
we're going to come back. I'm just
Yeah.
going to sum up.
Please.
Then there was, I think, another journalist. We're going to get her outlet who went out and discredited his death by bringing up the sexual allegation. She's been put on suspension.
Good.
At the Washington Post. They should have fired her. And then there's a guy named Ari Schaefer, who apparently is a comedian who manages the Joe Rogan empire. He says Kobe Bryant died 23 years too late today. He got away with rape because all the Hollywood liberals who attack comedy enjoy rooting for the Lakers more than they dislike rape. Big ups to the hero who forgot to gas up his chopper. I hate the Lakers. What a great day. Fuck the Lakers. Then he later came back and said that he was hacked. But then a video pops up where he says something not as negative, but similar. And so I'm just sitting here saying, you know what? Y'all motherfuckers feel real comfortable shitting on somebody who's an icon, who's an important, not just to black people, but to all people. And I'm just so surprised at how, the reporter saying it was a hiccup and a slip of the tongue, and she didn't say niggers, she meant to say Lakers and Knicks, and she got mixed up.
And
Girl,
you know what? I said that to my friend. I was like, you think she was trying to say knickerbockers or what the fuck was she trying to say?
But knickerbockers wasn't, a helicopter crash with Kobe Bryant and his daughter.
They blew me up and said, nigga, please. She said niggers. Because I was just trying to understand, what could she get confused with Lakers? I'm like, was she trying to say Knicks like knickerbocker? Like, what is she trying to say?
But you're reading a teleprompter or you're in the field just talking. So either way, unless the teleprompter said Nakers, because I'm telling you, had I made an error like that, I would have took a screenshot of that teleprompter. I would have went straight to Instagram and I would have threw my whole fucking team under the bus. But that doesn't seem like the case to me. I was really taken aback at how comfortable people felt. Like, you work for the Washington Post. Why would you feel like you could say something like that? The man ain't even. We don't even know if they found his body yet. We don't even know if they found his daughter's body yet. It was crazy.
That was a lot. First of all, the Joe Rogan comedian, you're not important enough to get hacked. So shut the fuck up. You actually wrote that. That's just my take on that.
Period.
it's just a lot to digest. And, we are focusing a lot on Kobe and Gianna, but let's just say the names of the other people who perished in the accident.
Absolutely.
John Altobelli, he was a well-respected baseball coach at Orange Coast College. His wife Carrie and their daughter Alyssa, they all perished on the flight.
Oh my God.
Christina,
And they left another daughter alive.
Yeah, I think it's 2 actually.
Oh
I don't see one on Good Morning America today. I'm not sure.
Christina Mauser, she was also confirmed, and as one of the passengers who also perished. Sarah Chester and her teenage daughter Peyton were also killed, and the pilot Era Zobayan was also one of the ones who died.
So recently today, Kylie Jenner posted on her Instagram that this is a chopper her and her daughter usually take.
And that she's and the same pilot as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so just, again, they're not arguing pilot error yet, and they're not saying that. I mean, there's some in the speculation. One thing they did say is that the helicopter was hovering around 875 feet and circled at least 6 times at a very low altitude. So probably couldn't see. And I would just assume, I don't want to assume. I don't want to add to that. But
Yeah.
I will say, it just, again, it creates another dynamic of concern when I travel, because when you're going through fog, or if you've ever flown through a storm, we've all been on several planes. When you fly through a storm, it's either severely raining or thunder, lightning, raining, and fog. You can't even see. So you're literally just trusting that the pilot knows what he's doing. And now I have questions on our own safety. Like, how do you know that you're flying in a safe and clear zone?
Well, I think airplanes and helicopters are drastically different. And of course, if you look at the cockpit and everything, airplanes got all types of, I don't want to call it sonar because I don't know if I'm saying the right thing, but there's ways to see through all of that. It's not just looking out the front window where it's like a helicopter. The guy is really relying on his eyesight.
Yeah.
Well, with air traffic control, the air
it's a lot
traffic
of-
control knows people's in the air.
Yeah, exactly.
You think about what if they ran into, crashed into a smaller commuter plane,
Yeah, we don't know.
We've been on planes. Have you been on a jet yet?
Yeah.
You've been on a propeller jet, or
Yeah.
does that propellers or just like a G5?
No, I've been on both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scary.
We've
Scary.
been on
It's
both.
scary.
Yeah.
It's like the most terrifying, and this is not even like a jet thing. I'm just talking like smaller.
Yeah,
Small
transportation. Right.
aircrafts. Yeah.
I always say when Floyd sends a jet or he sends a jet, please don't send nothing with a propeller plane, because I always go back to La Bamba, the movie, or Billy something, I can't remember. But anyway, but my point is that when I said, Floyd, don't send no jet with the propellers, and then, oh, no, you good. Then I get to the airport and there's a propeller plane. I'm like, okay, it's only 45 minutes. The last time I was on a plane, it had propellers, and the back started like, it just does this weird thing, and then you feel every little thing in the clouds. I've decided I don't care about going to Vegas no more like that, and I don't care about no helicopter ride. I'm cool.
Yeah.
Because the risk is just not worth it.
Yeah.
Nah, I feel what you're saying because I was taking like aviation classes, and when you're on those,
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
and when you're on those smaller planes, you feel every movement. Every jerk, every gust of wind.
But I would assume when you're flying it, you feel every single thing.
I was, if I could show you how frozen I was when I was flying those planes, but
I forgot about that. You sure do fly those.
man, at the end of the day, it took me out that his daughter was in there, and now they have a petition where they're trying to fight for him to be the new logo for the NBA.
I love it.
I think it's long overdue. Like I said, I think saying saying Kobe Bryant is an icon is an understatement.
Yeah.
Everybody, when I'm growing up thinking about the sport of basketball, Kobe Bryant has been there and been elite athlete.
Yeah.
And
And not even that. He encouraged people to develop like a work ethic.
Exactly. Commitment.
Like I know tons of guys that were inconsolable, just like crying their souls out of their body over Kobe's death. And what's really sad is that a lot of athletes, they have a really difficult time with retirement. They have a really difficult time giving up, like that walking through the tunnel and all the lights and the crowds and stuff like that. He was comfortable with retirement. He was like, I did it all. I am good. Next phase of his life started with an Academy Award win. Like it's just so shocking and so like heartbreaking just how much he had in front of him. And I won't even go there with Gianna because she had literally her whole entire life in front of her. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, who is this comparable to? You know, I was like maybe JFK Jr. or, you know, Paul Walker. You know, I thought of Richie Valens.
What makes it comparable is not just how he died. It's the sudden, like, unexpected.
Well, these are all people that died suddenly, you know, in the
Tupac.
in the prime,
Tupac.
Exactly, prime of their life.
Tupac was devastated. Biggie. I mean, there were who'd you say?
Aaliyah. That's another one. But with Kobe, it's almost like it's a combination of all of them. You know, with Biggie and Tupac, you know, unfortunately, they were existing in a time, in an era where there was a certain amount of danger combined with their lifestyles. Mm-hmm. Kobe got on a helicopter that he's gotten on 100 times before. He actually did an interview where he talked about why he started taking a helicopter, because LA traffic was getting so bad and he wanted to be able to be present for his family. And so commuting with a helicopter made it easier for him to get everything done. So this wasn't an arbitrary decision to get on a helicopter. He's been doing this for years.
But it's kind of hard. It is kind of hard to like weigh this death against. It's hard to weigh any death against any other death, right? Mm-hmm. I remember when Aaliyah died. Mm-hmm. She had her whole life ahead of her. She was a star, but she was literally, like, I think, reaching the peak of her career in really killing both film and music, and she died just doing what she loved, doing her job. With Tupac, I understand what you're saying, that, you know, he was in the streets and there was a lot going on between the East Coast, West Coast. Yeah. But if you remember, if you try to go back to that day, there's two things I think that were just very significant. One, we didn't live in a world of social media where the whole world reacted at one time and it was in your face and it's always coming, right? And the same with Biggie. Yeah. Same with Aaliyah, really.
Yeah.
And then the second thing, though, is that Tupac at the time was such an iconic figure, not just for music, but for the culture, in film, with Poetic Justice, with Juice, just everything that he did. And I remember, like, grieving for him like I knew him. You know, I couldn't even imagine a death like that happen right now with social media. And, you know, we've gone through the Juice WRLDs and all the different people passing. But this one, I think, just kind of going to your point, this was a man that seemingly did everything right. This was a man who took this mode of transportation so he could spend more time with his family and still be able to perfect his craft that all of us enjoyed. This was somebody who you didn't see him in the press fighting with people. He didn't seem to have no ego. Recently, he was at Diddy's 50th birthday party, walking around with his wife by himself with no security, taking pictures with everybody. This was somebody that you feel like you could have walked up to and had a conversation with, and who wouldn't have shunned you with ego. I was surprised yesterday, though, that the NBA didn't cancel all the games, because there were players sitting on the benches
sobbing,
crying, like they can't even focus on basketball because their icon has passed.
Yeah, they ran out the clock. On which game was that they ran out the clock? It was multiple games that they ran out the clock in honor of his number 24.
What do you guys think? Do you think they should?
Listen, I'm not. I have no idea what, like, the legalities involved with that are.
Tickets already bought.
Yeah, but I think that it would have gone over well with fans and players alike.
Whitney Houston died in Clive Davis's upstairs from Clive Davis's party, and when the party went on, I was the most vocal person about how distasteful I thought it was. I think that people buy tickets, people came out in their good clothes, people didn't call in sick to work because they came out, but something of this gravity
absolutely
it's so huge, like you can't cancel the Grammys. I guess you could, but I love how they literally transformed the Grammys in a matter of hours to reflect how crazy is it what the Grammys was in the house he built, though.
Yeah, Staples.
Alicia Keys, now I was talking about you last year because I felt like you should have had a little lip on, and you should have, you should have brought a little more last year.
So she did.
Hold on, but this year, girl, hats off to you, because I think she was the right motherly, earthy, kind of vibey person to literally get them through that night.
One thing that I will say that, in the smallest measure of condolence this might have for all of us, is that the world gave Kobe his flowers daily. Like he was
Yes.
very well aware of
So the flowers he's getting now measure up to the flowers he's already received.
he's been getting for his entire.
I agree with that.
With his entire life,
Yeah.
like everybody always, whenever they would meet him, it's the same thing with Jordan. Whenever they would meet him or Jordan or whoever, somebody on that level, they would always say what they did for them, how
Yeah.
they inspired them, how they aspired to be their level of greatness. They would have the soundtrack of interviews that they'd given and sound bites they had running through their heads. And so that's just the smallest, tiniest condolence at this moment, is the fact that Kobe Bryant had been given his flowers for the majority of his life. And he knew the positive effect that he'd had on us globally, which is really fantastic, because a lot of people don't get to know that.
I struggle with, so I processed a few things yesterday, right? I got so caught up in the book and the details in the book and by the way, people keep coming to me saying, I bought your book because Damage and Melissa reviewed it, because your feedback helps, so thank you. But you've read what's in there, right? And part of me wants to measure up to being my fullest potential, but at the same time, sometimes I find myself getting caught up in what the narrative about me is, and I play into that, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I want to be great, and I'm great at what I do, but I really do play into the narrative sometimes. And I think a lot of people do, whether you grow up in an impoverished community, you're just told you ain't never going to be shit, so you play into that. Like, I ain't really got to shoot hard. But the one thing I had just kind of looking at it, because I'm so into the details of what I'm going through in my mind and my emotions and the reaction I'm getting from people sharing their trauma, that I'm like, okay, I need to continue to be very conscious about my work ethic the same way that Kobe was.
Absolutely.
I need to be more mindful of everything I say and do, although I'm never going to be perfect. And I don't even want the pressure of trying to be perfect. I don't think none of us should. I'm going to try to keep in mind the balance. Like, I have to give you the vulnerable part without feeling weak, because sometimes I do feel like people come up to me now crying and stuff. It does make me feel like, I'm not that guy, but I am. It's just, I don't know. This death really made me look inward and say, okay, I want to aspire to work as hard as he did in what I do and show more of who I am, and not think of the FOMO of missing out at an event during Grammy week, or the vulnerability of crying and sharing myself in my book. And it's just so overwhelming, because we only get this one life that goes by so fast. And I'm thinking, this man was 1 year younger than me. He was 2 years younger than you.
41, yeah.
I mean, and as accomplished as he is, all the money, the fame, the access, the influence, gone. And you just think about, like, it just, I don't know. For me, it's just like this morning we got up early and went to the gym. I'm like, you know what I'm going to start doing? Getting up now, making this bed so I'm the fuck out of it, and getting out my house and doing something.
And I was, just to piggyback off what you were saying, I was thinking about that. I'm like, the best way to honor Kobe, what Kobe stood for was that hard work and commitment. And like you said, not playing into the narrative. He could have easily played into the narrative of being a superstar years ago. His ass got up, did his 2,000 free throws, 100 types of layups every day, nonstop. And I feel like the best way we can honor somebody with that kind of legacy is going as hard as we can, because that's really, when you really look at Kobe in a nutshell, bigger than him just being a great player, he was so committed to his dream and his passion. He never gave up. No matter how many flowers he got, no matter how many times he lost, no matter who was on his team, he was so committed to his work ethic.
And the balance of still being equally there for his kids.
Absolutely.
And as a black man, I feel like one thing that's missing in the narrative today about his legacy is how he showed people you can have it all. You can be lit, you can be rich, you can be successful, you can be good looking, you can have a beautiful family, you can make a mistake and still come back and be the man that you want to be. You're all of that. And I don't know how you really sum it up. And I still don't feel like all the recognition he's yet to receive has been done yet. Like, you've had everybody from presidents to Michael Jordan to Shaq. I mean, Shaq's son shared, Sharif, shout out to Sharif, shared a private message between him and Kobe on Instagram, where Kobe was checking on him after he had his procedure.
Yeah.
Like, for you to be that big and busy and removed from what the world is really doing in your retirement, to still be that dialed in, shows a sense of compassion and character. And, I think we should all strive to be like Kobe. I've never had the privilege of meeting and talking to him. I've been at games, courtside at games, and have watched him play. Don't really watch basketball. But I just recently said like LA really hasn't been the same since Kobe stopped playing.
Yeah, his he was moving his legacy in the direction of coaching. You know, that's what he was doing with Gianna and her team. And he just was always offering himself up to anybody who needed it. So that doesn't surprise me that he was involved. You know, that he extended himself to Shaq's son. And you know, I also just watched his animated short that he won the Oscar for, Dear Basketball, and you got to watch it if you haven't seen it yet.
Well, when I went back to Stockton, there were these 3 girls. Do you remember those 3 girls who played basketball at Edison High School? Their faces have been in my mind all day because they're young female basketball players. And I said to them, I said, listen, if you really are serious, you guys want this, like, tell your coach to sponsor a trip to LA. I'll set up a meeting with the Sparks. I'll do whatever I can to like put you in the right room with people, because now looking at Gianni, I kind of see them. Like, these are young girls, clearly around the same age, 14, 15, 13, who have the ambitions to be great, and they still have a chance. And I don't know, prayers to Vanessa, the other 3 kids. I can't even imagine. I mean, I know what it feels like to lose somebody suddenly, but I can't even imagine everybody's expected to come home.
The youngest one is Capri. She's 7 months old.
Yeah.
She's not going to remember her father. Like, she's going to know him by way of,
Images
pictures and videos, etc.
Yeah.
But like, she's not going to like remember what it was like to have her father hold her and stuff like that. So it's like, it's heartbreaking.
So have you processed it with your son, or has he asked, or does he know who Kobe is?
My son is not really into sports like that, but I just think as a father, man, like I said, hearing Kobe died in a helicopter crash was already devastating. And then when they said his daughter, I couldn't even, like, for a minute, I couldn't even breathe, because that feeling of losing your child, especially that this child was really walking in the likeness of her father. Like, they have clips on TV where she's making the same moves as her dad. It's like scary. And it's like, to lose, I can't even put it into words.
There's a picture out there. I'm going to put the picture right here so people can see it on the video. But he's playing the game, and he walks over to her, and he turns around and puts his hand behind his back, and she daps him up. They keep putting these pictures up. I ain't strong enough. I literally told myself this morning, I'm not going to social media for a minute. Let the team do it. They processing it, because I never had that relationship with my dad, where I would know what it feels like to lose a father. But I do know what it feels like to lose a father figure. Yeah. And I can only imagine, especially somebody who's following in his footsteps, who's studying the game, that, and she probably did that, of course, because she looked up to him.
And I'm telling you, before I found out she was in a helicopter, I was thinking to myself, like, thank God he has a daughter still here that can walk in his likeness and kind of carry that on. And like I said, when I found out she was actually in a helicopter, bro, I don't even know how to explain it.
So last year we lost Nipsey Hussle here in LA, and now we've lost Kobe. I don't even understand how to make sense of all this. I would say, though, that the one thing I love about living in Los Angeles is the people do know how to pull together as a community. Whether it was the Rodney King riots and them rioting for what they believe was social injustice, or whether it's the Latino community banding together and marching because of them wanting to attack Mexican Americans, or the deaths of Nipsey and Kobe. I feel like this community does know how to pull together, but damn, like, the grieving has to stop at some point, because you can't go nowhere in LA without still hearing about Nipsey. And I've yet to be out. I couldn't even believe people were partying after the Grammys yesterday. I'm like, what? They were celebrities were submitting videos of them twerking with people and dancing. I'm like, how could you even be in this city? I couldn't do it.
Not me either.
I couldn't do it. And shout out to Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, all of the legends, Scottie Pippen, who I saw today, Jerry West, all the legends who are coming together and embracing his legacy and making sure that they're out there in front of everybody saying, great memories about him, because you just never really know what people are going to say when you die.
Man. Yeah. Like I said, icon is an understatement.
So we're going to try to transition out of that. The Grammys last night, Again, Alicia Keys, my hat off to you. She did a song. She did a song that she had written that I thought was actually pretty catchy. You know what I mean? To get people engaged, where she was talking about all of them in the audience, because everybody just looked so sad. But you could also see, like, on the face of Ariana Grande and other people who were just really like trying to put their arms around her, because she had a hard ass job. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Getting up there and trying to entertain
After probably rehearsing for weeks. And then that, boom.
Yeah.
So this happened.
Well, there are some behind the scenes of her, because she partnered with Instagram to show kind of behind the scenes of what was happening. And she like candidly was like, yo, we're literally trying to pull this whole show together and go in a different direction. Shout out to Rico Love. I ran into him yesterday at brunch.
Rico.
Day before yesterday, and I say, hey, when you coming on the show, he goes, man, I ain't got no messy shit to go on that show. I said,
no, he need to come on the show.
I said, you ain't always going to go on the show. But what he told me was he's a trustee for the Grammys.
Wow.
So you know what I asked him? What's up? But old girl getting kicked out, the president, you know?
Yeah.
And basically, you know, he sounded like he was conflicted, because on one hand, he supports her and the change and need for diversity, and he's for all that. And he said he's the highest ranking person of color now at the Grammys, having gone from being a captain to a trustee or whatever.
Yeah.
But the trustees removed the new CEO, the new president, because of some alleged misconduct. I think some of the challenges that they're having now is that she's out now saying that she's alleging that producers, they fix the process to work towards what they want to produce for TV versus it being for the actual talent. And he doesn't like that. But I invited him on the show. I think he'd be great. But I'm still disappointed that this woman is not there.
Man, I wish I had it written down, all the stuff she came out to say.
Oh yeah,
the sexual allegations.
Yeah, she's going out in a blaze of glory.
You know, them saying they're taking on certain law firms that are conflict of interest. It's like a laundry list of things she's saying. And then I feel like I'm slightly conflicted also, because it's like, you knew all this there, and is it because you're not there working now that you want to blow the whistle? Or, you know, if it didn't go your way, would you mention these things?
No, she's saying that these are the things that she was trying to change. She'd only been there for less than a year.
Yeah, she just got there. So I think
that's what I'm just trying to understand it.
See, like, one thing that Rico said was, he said, you know, it's one thing to come in a room and say, here are some really significant issues I have with the Grammys that we need to change. And the board saying, we agree, to then getting removed and coming out and saying, these are all the things I wanted to change and they didn't let me. So it's like, you know, so he's like, the optics are off. Yeah. And he was like, it's not what it looks like. Because we agree with a lot of what she said. She's coming in to change an institution, which I understand, right? But you don't change a culture overnight, and you really got to be strategic, especially something like that, where you're addressing things that may have systemic or, you know, layers of racism.
It was a lot of big shit she was blowing the whistle. Like, big shit.
Well, she just sums it all up by saying this is a boys' club mentality, you know, and then there was no room for her, and she just, you know, her hand got too close to the fire, and I don't know. I would really love if he came on the show to have more of like an in-depth discussion about it.
I'll call him later.
Yeah.
Okay. Nicki Minaj's brother got sentenced to life in prison for child rape, raping a child. It's just the news. I don't create the news per se. I just report on it. What do you think?
What I think about a child rapist? He should be in.
What are the details of the case? I mean, what was the evidence against him to where he was convicted? And
if you have a living victim, that's pretty good evidence.
Okay.
They found semen somewhere.
He was found guilty. I don't think there's any question he's guilty. Are you questioning his guilt?
No, I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
Like, I really honestly didn't know much about the case itself, but.
Well, people are mad that we're using Nicki Minaj's name in the headline. Let's be very clear. Like, Nicki Minaj's name is the last thing that I want to come through these lips. But unfortunately, that's who he is, and that's been a very public case. So we've covered it. You know, we don't plan to cover it too much longer. I am going to mail him a copy of my book. I think he needs to hear from a person who's been a victim of child molest so he can understand how people live with it after the fact. Maybe we send Nicki a copy too. All right. So what else is going on?
Tinashe.
And I think anybody that supports child rapists or sex people who victimize people, if you cover up, if you pay their legal bills, if you fucking go and put feta cheese in the refrigerator, you should go to prison too. I think the whole fucking...
Wait, feta cheese in the refrigerator?
I'm just saying, if there's any support given to pedophiles, if you give them a ride to the airport, you know, all of you should go to prison. I'm not saying that's the case of Nicki Minaj. I'm just saying in the case of anybody who fucking supports a child rapist who gets convicted for life. But I'm sorry. What were we talking about?
We were going on to the next story.
Okay.
Tinashe. Am I saying? I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Tinashe.
thank you. Okay, just making sure. Because I said
this girl wears me thin, and
Why
you
does
know
she
I don't
wear
have
you
abs
thin?
yet, so you know wearing me thin is not a test.
okay. Well, she says that she was drunk for 6 months after discovering that Ben Simmons was dating Kendall Jenner. She basically says that she found out with everybody, and she revealed this at the Rock Nation brunch, which is this past weekend.
Wow.
And her exact words were, "It may have been the worst day of my life, but it's okay. I drank for like 6 months after that. Are you kidding me? I was like wasted for months, but I'm okay now." However, her mother aided her in getting her through the difficult period, and she goes on to say it was terrible, it was bad, but I'm good now.
So, you know, I didn't follow this story too close about Tinashe and Ben.
I think
they were going out for like 8 months. Her and Ben Simmons
I knew
were
that
going for 8 months.
But
and
did he get caught cheating?
a few weeks later, after they broke it off, he's out with Kendall Jenner.
So he was single.
I think the issue is that Ben has such a massive dick that once you get a big dick, big dicks in Hollywood aren't.
How do you know?
How do you know
It does
that?
not matter. I didn't get it. I mean, I'm just saying. I know girls though.
Okay.
I know girls. I know people who fucked him. You know, he has a large penis, an extremely large penis, from what I've heard. And maybe he just dicked that girl down so much that she lost her motherfucking mind. But here's the deal. What I don't understand, what I'm perplexed about is, Tinashe, you should care more about your albums. Stop showing up to the Maxim party, performing in running shoes, looking like you're supposed to be up Running Canyon. I know she's at Rock Nation now. Jay-Z is not going to give her a verse because he would never go backwards. Why would you go backwards? I mean, it's like cheating on Beyonce again. You just keep it moving. And then, like, Beyonce's not going to give you a verse. Rihanna's definitely not touching a Tinashe track. So who's gonna go in and get on the album? Now, I'm not a hater. I just say what people are thinking. I know people are like,
thinking this?
when's the last time you played Tinashe in your car?
You know, I mean, I don't feel like Tinashe makes music for me, but the efforts I have seen Tinashe put out, like the videos that I feel like she self-produced and helps with, it's actually pretty good.
Damage. Fuck this cookie.
No, I'm dead serious.
I'm gonna say this to the viewers. You are just as shady as I am. You're just classier than I am, but you're shady.
But what I'm trying to say is, with Tinashe, I don't have any shade to her. I really honestly think she's an okay artist.
Okay.
Like, when I watch her new music videos that she's put out in the past few years, and I watched her dance, I felt like she had some talent.
Let me ask you a question. Did you watch Beyonce's Homecoming?
Of course.
Okay. So my point is, real talent shows up and shows itself to the extent that even if you don't listen to that type of music, you're going to go tune in. Let me ask you, you're a DJ, right?
Yeah.
You play everywhere.
Yeah.
All type. You play corporate events.
I play corporate events a lot.
You play for white people, black people.
Yeah.
All shades of people.
Yeah.
Young and old.
Yeah.
Have you ever put Tinashe in any of your mixes? Listen, listen.
Oh my
I'm gonna
God.
go ahead
The
and
last single I played from Tinashe, I really enjoyed, and I think it had Offset on it.
I'm going to take the hit for this team
On the radio.
for being the guy that says all the shit that you're not supposed to say because you walk the streets. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm waiting to get ran up on because it's just great content. 2020, I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Tinashe, is she in your playlist?
Listen,
I just
Is she
think I
in your
believe in her
playlist?
as
She
an
is in my
artist.
playlist.
Okay, what song is in your playlist?
I don't know.
Right, exactly.
But
So
wait,
so
wait,
That's what I'm
wait.
saying.
Wait,
That's
wait.
what I'm saying. I like Tinashe.
So let me sum it up. A person who DJs for the world doesn't care enough to put you in a playlist. A person who's been in some of the biggest videos in the world, who loves music, who listens to your songs, but just can't remember what they're called.
Listen,
I'm
okay,
sorry. Y'all
no.
are shady today.
No,
I ain't got
no.
time for this
Listen.
shit.
She got one with Offset we play on the radio that was
Two
kind of hot.
things.
Her song is not called One with Offset. Please get the title.
Okay, two things. Let's focus on this. One, I listen to shit like fucking Massive Attack and Little Dragon. Okay, so
But you
my tastes are all over the
So
place.
what do you listen to from Lil Dragon if you listen to them?
Fuck, I mean, After the Rain,
Oh, so
Twice.
you know a lot of their songs, but you don't remember none of Tinashe.
Because I'm
y'all are shady.
Because I'm obsessed with
okay.
Little
Young
Dragon.
Thug I like too.
So you don't know none of Tinashe's songs.
This
Please
is-
just give me one name, one song title.
She had one with Young Thug I like.
How many title songs called one of those songs?
I just remember the features in the videos.
Hold on. Okay. I will give somebody $10 without looking at your notes to tell me a Tinashe song. 10.
2 on.
What is it called?
2 on.
Well, you're a DJ. You don't count.
I'll take that one.
I'll give you $10.
But wait, hold on 1 second here. Can we focus on what the story was?
And she could at least show up in regular shoes and regular, like, where's your wardrobe budget?
Okay, hold on. For 1 second, could we fall back on the judgment of this girl
and talk
about the fact that she was a young girl with a broken heart, like she was in love with this guy? Can we just do that for once? And how she found out.
Do you want to talk about a broken heart?
No, I'm not comparing her to you, Jason. Come on, let her have her moment in. Like she's being candid about a really shitty time in her life. There's probably a lot of girls who could really identify with what she was saying.
Are these the light-skinned girls who feel some type of way of her saying the reason why she's not successful because she light-skinned? I mean, I don't know which girls we're talking about.
She broke this news
Kelvin,
at the Rock Nation
you knew what the fuck you were
brunch?
doing putting this goddamn story in here. You knew you were going to fucking set him off.
Wait, did she not say she had an issue with being light-skinned? It was the reason why she's not successful. Okay, so I'm sorry, Beyonce and Rihanna. They're successful.
You know what I will say?
I just am so sick of these young people who have all these issues with, okay, your man don't want you. Bitch, my daddy didn't want my mama. So what?
You know what I will say? What I will say is that, pain should be a cathartic moment for you.
You don't even know that girl's song. Quit talking to me.
And you should go, you should use the pain and go into the studio get that shit done.
Yeah, you know what?
Follow Melissa Ford on I'm There for the Food. This ain't that show. We talking about we talking about a girl who this is the problem with our people. We internalize shit so much that we go and we put our head under the cover and say, oh my God, she fucking my man. But what does Taylor Swift do? She turns it into a #1 hit, world tour. She's making money.
But wait, she's not the only person. Mary J. Blige made a whole career off of singing about her fucking
right,
thing.
But this generation don't listen to her no more. All that dance is done. I'm talking about this era of the people.
No. Mary J. Blige is the Kobe of all these young
Okay, well, then maybe
singers.
she should retire too. She's not on Top 40 radio right now. Taylor Swift's at the no. What name a Mary song in the last year that you've downloaded on your podcast on your phone?
Again, I listened to Little Dragon and Massive Attack.
So my point is, I love my life. Oh, I'll reminisce about some real love right now.
I really go back to Mary's old stuff. Like what's the 411 and yeah.
We are also
boy,
old.
you are young. You are young. We're old. You're young.
I'll go back and listen to some Mary.
You know who Lil Peep, Lil Durk, Lil Doozy, Lil.
Who are
y'all both saying the same thing. Instead of going
we're not.
Going on the red carpet and talking about your heartbreak, then making a fire ass album. Now that you're with Rock Nation, is the way you unleash this news.
So we don't know what she's got in the pipeline.
Nothing.
Bring it out.
She has nothing.
Would you guys settle?
She don't even have a proper performance outfit.
She's got a single. A single out right now.
Wait, hold on.
What's it called?
Hold on, Melissa, what's the name of it?
He just said it. Our researcher just fucking told
Everybody
us.
watching the show right now. Now, you can say you don't like me. You can say you don't like me. But just imagine if I wasn't here today to call this messy group of people out on this shit.
God.
I simply came to work to talk about my book, which is #1 on Amazon right now. Please go and check it out.
Support Tinashe, y'all.
Somebody needs to. Okay. By the way, Tinashe, we love you to come on the show.
Come on, too.
And Ben Simmons, please let your dick
Feelings. Boom.
Look at that.
It took a whole 1G download on your phone to find it. So let's move on. What else is on this list? I'm sick of this show today.
Okay, fine. So we have a grandfather who paid his grandson $40 to take a morphine pill and urinate in a cup for a drug test.
Ouch.
So an 11-year-old boy from Mesa, Arizona was paid $40 by his grandfather to take a morphine pill and urinate in a cup so he could pass a drug test. Now, I know you're confused because I was too. I was like, morphine pill passing a drug test, that doesn't make sense. So apparently,
it sounds like a supportive family to me.
Apparently the grandfather also has likes the weed, and so
so
he didn't want that to come up on the drug test. The only thing that needed to show up on the drug test was traces of morphine because that's what he was prescribed. So he asked his 11-year-old.
You still don't know a Tinashe song. I guess.
Feelings, okay?
Feelings.
I'm in my feelings right now. So Anyways, this poor young boy, he took the pill and he started to show symptoms of a drug overdose and vomited several times. He was rushed to a local hospital to receive treatment, and now everybody's arrested. His mom's arrested, grandfather's arrested, everybody's going to jail.
You going to jail now?
I mean, people are fucked up. How are you going to give your grandson $40 in a morphine pill and pee in a cup for me?
First of all, his grandson is supposed to take one for the team. Your grandparents are like, they near death anyway, so they just try anything, right? Because they've already lived their life. My grandma, this is a real story.
Okay.
Shout out to Maybelle Tanner. I didn't even put this in the book. But she had really bad eyes,
Okay.
So she would sit at her kitchen table every time we would come in the house. We just, all the kids in and out all day long, because she had 15 kids who had each at least 8 kids. So she had hundreds of
That's
grandkids.
a lot.
One day I came in, she had just had her cataracts done. That's where they do the eye surgery. And she said, boy, you so cute. I didn't know that with the glaucoma. But see, that's just her being shady as fuck, Because she told me I was cute before, but clearly she didn't really know. She just took a gamble. But I digress in saying maybe he was just one day like, grandson, just like.
No. Because
You almost killed his goddamn grandson.
Apparently, this has been going on for over a year.
Wait, he was giving him morphine for a year?
Yeah, that's what it says. Reportedly, the boy's been taking white pills and urinating in a cup for over a year for $20 a time. I don't know why he upped it to $40 this time.
He could have gave him something else.
Oh, he gave him a stronger dose. So they were white morphine pills. Now these were stronger doses.
Maybe he had a headache.
But the problem is you turning your grandson into an addict young. Like an addict.
That part.
You ain't never had a family member drive you to drink?
I've had men drive me to drink, but no, not family members.
But forcing morphine on a little kid?
Was he forcing though?
I mean...
The kid was like 11. It's your grandfather saying it. It's it maybe not forcing. It's coercion and bribery.
Was he
and money.
If he was 11, this isn't funny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was 11.
It's coercion and bribery. So, people are saying that the kid should be removed from the home and put into protective services.
Damn.
I mean, it sucks all the way around.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Because,
Lizzo lost big last night, didn't she?
No.
She won 3 awards, but how many was she nominated for? 10? 8?
I mean,
she lost all the big ones.
She won 3 Grammys.
2 that they didn't even put on TV. Billie Eilish, she won everything.
Yeah, this Billie Eilish.
I think Lizzo's okay with her lot in life right now. She's cover
great.
of Time.
She's winning.
She's winning.
She's a winner.
She's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, she's doing just fine. But Billie Eilish did, sweep
This Billie Eilish, she comes out of nowhere, like literally nowhere, and has the biggest everything in the world.
And she's only like a kid.
Can I just ask a question, damaged music guy? Mm-hmm. And this is absolutely no shade.
Don't ask him what Tinashe's song is.
No, I'm not going to. What's the big deal with Billie Eilish? I've only heard her song "Bad Guy." That's the only song, and I heard it everywhere. So it apparently got Song of the Year.
Speculations
right?
about like industry plants and things like that.
Yeah.
What's the industry plant?
Like somebody just kind of like the labels or like the whole entertainment community kind of comes together and gets behind because that person will serve their purpose in every platform.
So the Illuminati.
I don't know. I wouldn't call it the Illuminati.
Illuminati adjacent.
Yeah. Like you got Billie Eilish. She comes out of nowhere with this #1 song. And now she's on the biggest festivals. And now she's getting all the Grammys.
I mean, everything.
And I'm not saying she has no talent. But, I mean, if you look at her family, her background, she comes from tons of fucking money. It's just like, what is this?
But I'm learning this whole new radio thing. Because even over here at iHeart, Justin Bieber with his new song or new album, they put him on every single iHeart channel.
Platform. That's the first to ever be done.
Ever, right? Mm-hmm. So to be on urban, pop, rhythmic, top 4, I mean, he's everything. On every probably country.
Mm-hmm. Putting Yummy on country.
But you can make a star.
Yeah.
In essence,
no,
right?
Absolutely.
Because if you hear it in every elevator of every hotel, every place you go, your podcast, or your ear, like your phone,
Yeah.
It's easier today than it was before. If you put somebody on the top of a playlist and say, this is the hottest song right now, this new Billie Eilish Bad Guy, and it has a good beat.
No,
why not?
I'm sorry, I'm not the one.
But you're not the demo they're going for,
I'm definitely not the demo because I do not buy it.
You don't even know a Tinashe song. But I will say that we have a new show called Problematic where I did a whole episode on the. Did you see it?
On the award show.
On the award show, it was pretty good.
Yeah,
Adam's pretty good, right?
Yeah, Adam is the bomb.
So everywhere we were going in the South and all the black people coming to see me, I was like, that's the shady nigga behind all the videos. So they're like, oh my God, we love Adam. No, but if you look at that video, I mean, the accuracy is really real. Like Beyonce, I think she was honored when she was serving that community.
Yeah.
When she was serving that shit, bills. Now that she's given us, like, Spirit is a phenomenal song in the the video and all that. The fact that she went to Africa and created that masterpiece with her daughter in it, and she got a Grammy for it. But the fact that she got nothing else is just it's really kind of weird. It's kind of crazy if you think about it, because you could be that good and still not be good enough in the eyes of these people.
In the eyes of these people who,
and maybe that's what the now former president who's been ousted of the Grammys was trying to get to the root of.
Oh, they said she came in changing images on the wall. Like, take all this down. Like, she was transformed. Black girls, women who work in there. You know, I'm joining the Grammy board this year because I want to get in there.
As you should.
And see what's going on. We should all join. But you don't know you got to learn Tinashe's song first.
Is that what I have to do in order to be on the board of? I have to know Tinashe's music.
I hope Tinashe just has the biggest year possible too.
I do too.
I swear to God.
I'm not a Tinashe hater. All I do is I'm like a mirror. I'm just reflecting on what's happening. Side note, my Uber driver filed a complaint against me yesterday. I can't believe.
What'd you
Doing
do?
what?
He picked me up and he went down the wrong street, which required him to go 3 blocks down to make a
cursed him
U-turn.
out.
No, I just said, sir, why didn't you go straight? This is not the right turn. I'm just following.
You don't do anything just like.
No, I was in the middle of talking about Kobe and I was already down and we were just leaving the gym and I said, sir, I didn't say sir. I said, hey, you were supposed to go straight, not turn right here. And he turns right and he goes, oh, hold on, man. I mean, you don't have to attack me for that.
Oh, God, one
I
of
was
those.
like, what are you talking about? Attack? I go, you think that's an attack? I'm just simply saying, now you're going to have to go 3 blocks down, turn around, and come all the way up. And I ended up fixing the conversation before he dropped me off, and he still made a report.
It said you attacked him.
That he felt unsafe.
Oh God.
So I filed a complaint against his ass for being racist. But anyway.
Well, there's that part.
There you go.
And so last week, I was attacked by the police in New Orleans. And so I'm following through people, they think on social media that I forgot about it, but I'm filing a formal complaint. I talked to him this morning. I'm going to pursue that today.
That's a thing, too. My boy was telling me they did the same thing to him.
In that airport?
Not that airport, but that's like a new thing where like these random undercovers are kind of coming up and questioning you real quick. And I'm like, that's within the law? Like,
But after you get through TSA and security.
It's weird.
Well, I'll say to the people in New Orleans, we are following the Jeffrey Parish Police Department. We found, since I posted that.
You mean the Jefferson Parish?
Jefferson Parish.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. The Jefferson Parish. So that place, apparently there's a video of them where they were arresting some men of color and allegedly shot a man while he was handcuffed and killed him.
Whoa.
Then there was another story that recently came out, literally like a week ago, where an autistic kid was either killed or beaten while he was handcuffed. And then now people are sending several videos and pictures in of these cops harassing them in the airport. Nobody at the airport knew who these people were. I called, talked to the police. They didn't have them on record. But since I have their images, the shout out to the people who follow Hollywood Unlocked, they went and found them and all their information. And so now we know who they are because they didn't want to give us their names or anything.
Wow.
But I just feel like, again, black people, we need to stick up for ourselves. Fuck that.
It's time.
Yeah, just imagine if that was somebody that didn't have the resources that I have or the platform or a platform that we share and we're just out in the dark somewhere.
And that's
by
why everything
ourselves.
happens for a reason, because they got the right one with the platform, with the following, and the guts to go up against them.
Oh, yeah. They like Jason is riding on the police. Damn right.
Yeah. Wait, we didn't get a chance to talk about the, speaking of racial discrimination, the newscaster from MSNBC. Do you guys really believe that
we
she...
talked
A
about
little bit, but we ain't really...
Yeah, we didn't go into it.
The Los Angeles niggers.
So nobody here believes that was just like a
Freudian slip?
Like ish, but no, but like not that she... What is it that she said that she was saying? She was trying to. She said it was like a combination of trying to say Knicks and Lakers.
You're talking about Kobe Bryant. Where was the Knicks at?
Yeah, where did you get the Knicks ever? Where was that?
What you think? You think it was a mistake?
I don't think that there was teleprompter in front of her.
Okay, so
I
you
think
think it was the error?
I think that she was speaking really, really fast.
And Knickers just slipped out.
But that's just weird. That was just the weirdest timing to say something like that. You know what I mean?
And you know this stuff better than me. When I heard of a Freudian slip when I was going to school, it's like something that's in your mind and then it happens to come out
that's what a
at a
Freudian,
weird time.
That's
so
what a
it's
Freudian
like,
slip
this is what you think.
Yeah.
Or if you sit in the back and talk about these people to your coworkers that way, and then boom.
It's very true. Well, she's canceled. It doesn't matter. She has no fucking career. It's
They took her
over.
off?
She
Yeah.
hasn't been fired yet.
She's still working?
And there's a petition to get her fired, but she's still working.
That would be really interesting if MSNBC kept her on, because there's just too much public pressure to like.
And this one ain't gonna let up.
I don't think she's safe.
This
honestly.
one's not gonna let up. You fucked with Kobe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the day
You
of.
fucked with Kobe.
Wendy Williams brought it up today. You know, she don't even like talking about these kind of topics. She got emotional, but she even brought it up to. Yeah, I mean, it's a topic people are talking about. I didn't see Good Morning America really talk about it though. Like, I would just like I need to some bigger.
Oh, she's suspended. Told you.
Is she?
Suspended but ain't enough.
That's while they investigate. She'll come back, but she could always go. She gonna go to Fox. She'll be somewhere.
She could definitely get a job with Fox.
Let's go to Fox. Oh,
yes, she could definitely get
scouted.
a job. She can get a job with Fox because I remember one time it was when Osama bin Laden was killed, and I was watching Fox News. I lived in the Wall Street area at the time, so everybody went down to like World Trade, American flags and whatnot. But the headline on Fox said Obama bin Laden killed. I was like, you motherfuckers!
They do that shit on purpose.
They really do. I can't stand them.
But
so she could definitely get a job with them if it was in fact a Freudian slip.
You know, again, the sad part that I was left with yesterday was the thought that you could be as great as Kobe and they'll still try to diminish you, or you could be as great as Obama. You found the terrorist that led us in. That was
responsible for the towers coming down,
and
allegedly.
A war that we shouldn't have even fought in Iraq. And you found and killed him, and you still are a bad president. I'm so confused. I'll tell you this. I woke up this morning saying I'm going to be the greatest I could be. And to some, it may not measure up, but I got to realize what my grade is. Stop worrying about, somebody just said something about I'm nominated for an award or something. I'm like, you know what? If I get it, good. If I don't get it, I don't. I do want an Emmy, though. But my greatness isn't going to be woven into whether or not, like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's how you change the people. It's how you affect the people. I think that's the biggest reward. You know, when people can go up to Kobe Bryant and say, I play basketball because of you. Somebody can come up, I wanted to do this because of Jason Lee or Melissa Ford. That is the biggest award that you can get.
No,
You're changing a life.
For sure.
So,
well, listen, I guess we leave people here with the good word of hug somebody close to you, man, and give everybody their flowers while they're alive.
Absolutely.
Because all that I wish I coulda, woulda, I needed to, that doesn't matter when people are gone.
Yeah, and yesterday really just highlighted that it's not even that tomorrow's not promised. An hour from now is not promised. You know, every single moment that you're living and breathing and, able-bodied and, you can make concise decisions on your life, make them for the positive because, like, time is just, it's a resource that we can't get back.
Well, I had this thing where I was thinking yesterday that people say, oh, well, black women that die of heart disease at a higher rate, or obesity is the reason for heart attacks and strokes and people die from this. You know what everybody on this planet dies from?
Car accidents.
Death?
Life.
Right.
Because that's the only thing you're promised when you're born. You're going to die in your life. How it happens or with the rates and all that. Because if you think about it, Kobe was more fit than I am, more rich than I am, more resourceful than I am, so you would have never thought that I would have never thought that Kobe Bryant would pass away.
Never.
And this kind of death just scares us all. It shakes us all to the core where we have to realize, like, what's important. Is it important to be sitting around wasting our time with people that don't fill us up, or finding our purpose so we can have somewhat of an influence, even a fraction of the influence he had? All right, well, I don't know. Anything last moments you want to leave people with?
It's just the same as what we've been saying. Like, time is not on your side. Just live your life with, discover what you feel like, is a purposeful, existence for you, and live that with intention. That's it.
Absolutely. And in closing, I have a media coaching course coming up. Look out for that.
Okay, you guys. Yes, for the self-promotion. I love it.
So this book is really important for people who are dealing with trauma or been through anything. I promise if you read it, you will be impacted by it, and you can share it with other people. I know families are sharing it in their house, although I'd want you to buy a copy for each of yourselves. But just if you want to share it, that's fine. But God Must Have Forgot About Me, #1 on Amazon right now. Check it out.
Yes.
Well, am I coming on your podcast? What's going on?
Motherfucker, you're on a goddamn book tour. Can you please let me know when you will come on my little tiny show?
Stop it. I will be back February 6th. February 3rd, check me out on Wendy Williams. February 5th, check me out on The Breakfast Club or something like that.
Okay, so then we'll do it after you get off of like the big high profile,
and
shows.
I'm having a LA dinner for my book that I would like you
You're
guys
doing
both
that?
to.
Okay, you're doing that on like the 7th or the 8th?
We'll be there.
7th, how you know?
You told me.
Oh.
Okay. I'm just glad I'm going to be in town for that.
She remembered that, but she forgot to remember Tinashe. Anyway, I'm out.
Stop it.
Peace.
Stop it. Stop it. Bye, everybody.
What up, YouTube? Thank you for watching this reckless show.
Yeah, and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell.
And also don't forget to share and leave a comment because we are reading.